Well, how are you doing, everyone? Today is Sunday, March 24th, year 2024. Look at that, March 24th, 2024. Yep. How y'all doing today? And I know my videos have slowed down, and that's probably because a variety of different reasons. Hopefully you get nuggets out of this video. Anyway, here's my belief. All of you out there watching this can become a millionaire if you want to. How long will it take you? I watched a video earlier today by a guy called Gen X Dividend Investor. A buddy told me about that channel. And one of the early things he said in the video was, in 27 years you can become a millionaire by dividend investment. Yeah, he's probably right. The average person can become a millionaire in 27 years by dividend investing. I agree. However, I dare say the majority of you out here can become millionaires in 5 to 10 years if you want to. If you want to. And that's the key right there. So many of you do not want to. So many of you might say you want to, but you really don't. You really don't try. How do you do it? How do you do it? I'll tell you. Buy real estate. Buy real estate. Use real estate to accelerate your wealth to become that millionaire. Then, by golly, if you want to diversify into more dividend paying stocks, into alternative investments like oil drilling or mineral rights or businesses or whatever it may be, you can do that. But if you're just starting out, if you're the little guy, I'll give you an example. I have two sons. They both started around 18, 19 investing. Are your kids investing? Are they? If you are watching YouTube channels and they talk about having children who are grown, they're adults or whatnot, and they don't invest, by golly, I'll dare say it comes down to parenting skills. Okay? My kids grew up frugal. My kids grew up with me talking to them about a variety of things, including investing. Even now, my kids look to me for guidance. Even now, my oldest son, he's approaching the millionaire investment or the millionaire level. And he's how old? He's in his early 30s. My other son is in his 20s. He listens to me, but not quite as much. He doesn't care as much. And he's not approaching the millionaire level yet. I have a buddy of mine who I was just talking to about dividend Gen X, whatever that said there with that channel. He should be a millionaire by now, but he has, again, not listened to me on a variety of things. Folks who listen to me, I'm not saying all my advice is golden. I should not say that. Maybe all of you should ignore me. Just ignore me. But I'm only the guy who, when I discovered real estate, I went from 0 to 25 rentals in 4 years. People have said you made a lot of money at your job. No, I did not. People have said you made a lot of money in stocks. Okay, stocks helped me to get 2 houses inside of self-directed IRAs. So we'll say I want 0 to 23 rentals in 4 years. People might say you bought in a cheap area. You bought when the timing was right. First house I bought cost me $97,000. The second house cost me $97,000. The third property cost me $200,000. I did not start off buying houses for $25,000 or $50,000. Okay, that's how I started off, buying more expensive houses. But something I learned early on is you gotta buy for cash flow. Do not buy for appreciation. Do not buy because it's a great looking house in a great neighborhood. Buy for cash flow. Sure, if you buy a great looking house in a great neighborhood, as long as you don't overpay too much, it could turn into a great investment. But if the market turns and rents pull back and property values pull back just a bit, and you bought a house not being a good deal, could it come back and bite you? Yes, it could. Yes, it could. So be careful with that. All of you. Don't fall in love with your real estate properties. If you want to fall in love with the house you live in, wait until you're wealthy and fall in love with the house you live in. Speaking of that, I am moving soon. I am moving in about a week. and I'm moving to a place that I'm going to be renting it still. It's costing me, in rent, it will cost me $700-ish less than this house right here. And my utilities should be a little bit less. So my expenses should be a little bit less, I think. So I should save hopefully $750, $800 a month. Thereabouts, roughly. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I'm not in love with this house. People tell me I got a great house. I'm in a casita. I got a swimming pool right there. I got a nice house. It's a good looking house right there. I'm not in love with it. I could live here for longer if I wanted to. I don't want to. I'm going to a cheaper place. Am I going to love that one? Maybe I do, maybe I don't. But I'll guarantee you if that's $700 to $800 a month extra I'm getting, I will use it wisely. I will use it to do one of two things, or a combination of these two things. I will pay down some debt that I have. I don't like debt. I'm a little bit older than a lot of you. I don't like having too much debt. I might pay some of it down while I add to other investments. Cash flowing investments. I have learned at this stage in my life, when I discovered real estate, I learned this. And I was 49 when I bought my first rental property. So that's when I started learning. It took me a little bit to learn it. It took me after I had about 5 units till I really started understanding. Oh, wait, cash flow, cash flow. It doesn't matter if I buy a house for $100,000 and in 3 years it appreciates to $300,000. If I'm not going to sell it, I want cash flow, positive cash flow every month. Same deal if I buy a house for $100,000 and say it drops to $60,000 in value. As long as I have positive cash flow, it doesn't matter. Because what can you do with cash flow? You can live on cash flow. Your paycheck is positive cash flow, right? But you get your paycheck and you pay bills with it. So if you have investments that spin off positive cash flow, you're spinning it off. See, that's my motion of spinning it off. Spinning off positive cash flow, you can pay your bills with it. So if you're a stock investor, can you be successful as a dividend investor? Yes, you can. Can you be successful as a growth investor? Yes, you can. But as a growth investor, I was a growth investor for many years. I started investing in 1990 in mutual funds. I started investing in 1999 strictly in individual stocks and growth stocks. I had some outstanding returns. Outstanding. I averaged something like 18% over a period of 15 years. 18% annualized. But, as I learned, when you don't have a lot of money to start with, yes, 18% is nice, but it takes a while to grow. But then I found real estate, and by golly, in 4 years, less than 4 years, I was a millionaire. Now from the stocks, from the real estate. Now I also invest in mineral rights acreage and oil drilling, and I have some other investments. And I can do that. I'm a multi-millionaire. I can do that. It's my choice. I want to do that. I have fun with it. I have fun with my investments. So how am I saying, I know it's getting long again, how am I saying that you can become a millionaire? Buy real estate. I'll harp on this one topic over and over and over again and tell you what to do. If you live in a primary residence, is it paid off? Number one. If it's not paid off, can you rent a room in there to somebody else? Can you rent a basement? Can you rent your casita? Can you produce income from the house you live in? If you cannot produce income from the house you live in, I'll challenge you, sell it. Don't blink, don't hesitate. If you are not making money from the house you live in, unless you're already wealthy, sell it. Buy a house that you can make money from. You could buy a single family home that has an extra bedroom. Maybe now you rent the bedroom out. Maybe you rent the basement out. Or better yet, you buy a duplex, triplex, or quadplex. And you live in one unit and you rent the other ones out. Oh, you can't do that. You're a police officer and you got a marked police car. You don't want anybody to see where you live at. Look at Millionaire Mike. He's a state trooper. He lives in a duplex. He's a state trooper. They see him. He's still alive. He's still kicking and breathing. All right? Don't worry about it. Yes, be prudent, be careful. Prudent's not the right word, maybe, but be careful out there. And all you do, be aware of your surroundings at all times. There are crazy people out there, more now than ever before. So with that being said, once you become a millionaire, you'll get a target on your back, perhaps. Be a little careful. Protect yourself. All right? But again, how do you become a millionaire? Buy real estate. I don't care where you live at. I don't care if you live in South Florida like I used to live. South Florida is expensive. If you live in South Florida, it's just as expensive as California, if you're a place I was at in South Florida. And even in South Florida, you can buy a duplex or a triplex and you're not gonna make killer money, but you can live in one unit and get part of your mortgage paid from your tenants. Part of your mortgage is better than not having tenants pay any mortgage. So, but if I lived in South Florida and I was a beginning investor, I would probably try to buy homes somewhere else. If I worked a good job there and I did not want to relocate, I would find a good area to invest in. I would find a good team, boots on the ground, property manager, contractors, etc., and I would buy somewhere else. Okay? And all of Florida is not overpriced. There's places in Florida you can buy that are more reasonably priced. Okay? But you gotta learn how to run the numbers. Gotta learn how to run the numbers. Let me ask you this. Knowing today's environment, if there's something called the 1% rule, which is not a rule to go by in real estate, but it's a guide, kind of. Say a house costs $100,000. If it's renting for $900 a month, that's less than 1% of $100,000. $900 is less than 1% of $100,000. 1% of $100,000 is $1,000. So if you're renting for $900, you're not renting for 1%. It's less than 1%. Okay. Now, why that could be a problem is, especially nowadays, interest rates are higher. Say you're paying 7% on investment property, but if you're living in it, maybe you're paying 5.5%. Okay. But you got to factor in that interest rate. You got to factor in insurance. You got to factor in taxes. You got to factor in take money out for vacancies, repairs, capital expenditures, paying your property manager, etc. How much cash do you have left? Okay, you got to factor that all into play. And if you buy it for $100,000 and it rents for $900, it might not have positive cash flow. And if it doesn't have positive cash flow, is it a bad deal? Probably so, because you could get yourself in trouble. Now, if you're wealthy enough, you can swing the mortgage without positive cash flow, and so maybe you can keep your head above water. But if you're not wealthy enough, don't do that. Don't do that, because most of us are not wealthy enough, so don't do it. All right? And then, if you can buy elsewhere and you positively cash flow, if times get tough, if the market takes a turn, rents drop or property values drop, as long as you got positive cash flow, you got a cushion there, right? If taxes go up, insurance goes up, you got a cushion to absorb it, hopefully. Now, if they keep going up and you can't raise your rent, well, then it might turn from a good deal to a bad deal, but hopefully we don't get to that point in life. All right? But again, if you want to become a millionaire, start investing. If you want to buy a house, start saving up money for your down payment. The best way to do it is to buy a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex. Why? Because you get a residential 30-year fixed rate mortgage with the best interest rate that's available at that time. Not the investment interest rate, but a first-time homebuyer's interest rate. You can live in one unit, tenants live in the others. You get your mortgage maybe partially paid or fully paid. And if you can live somewhere and not have to pay rent or pay a mortgage, that's pretty daggone nice. That's pretty nice. I wish I had known about this back when I was buying my first house. I would have bought a duplex in a heartbeat. And I would have followed that in a year's time, because you got to stay there normally 1 year. In a year's time, I'd probably move to another duplex. And in a year's time, I'd probably move to a triplex. And I would have built up a real estate portfolio a long time ago. A long time ago. So, to answer that question, how do you become a millionaire? You got it. Start buying real estate. Once you start buying real estate and you achieve that millionaire status, then if you so desire, branch out. Buy more dividend paying stocks. Maybe you got some already in your Roth, but buy more if you want to. Buy the nice house in a neighborhood that may not cash flow that well from the get-go, because you already got enough cash flow to live on. So maybe you're trying to buy, maybe you speculate a little bit. Speculation is gambling. Maybe you speculate on that house appreciating, but you do it after you are finance independent, after you've achieved, in quotes, that millionaire status. Okay? and the cash flow. The cash flow is more important. The level, millionaire is not important. That's not the important. If I say I'm a multi-millionaire, that's not important. It's my cash flow. If you got a large enough cash flow that you can absorb possibly losing money on a house because it's a nice house in a nice neighborhood, if you want to do that, then go do it, because now you got the nice house. Okay, and maybe times turn around and maybe rents go up, or maybe prices go up and you sell it. Okay, that's a good deal. But if you're not wealthy yet, you don't have the financial independence yet, you don't have the cash flow to live on, I caution you, be careful with doing that. Don't get burned. You can bite off more than you should, and you might get burned. This room's not cooling down quite as fast as it should. I normally make my videos in the morning. I got busy today. It's the afternoon now. That's probably why the sun's kind of coming in the windows there. So anyway, with that being said, I am, as I said, moving in about a week. My video making, I don't know if it'll slow down even more. I don't know if it'll pick up. I say the same thing over and over and over again. Not a lot of you tune in and listen. I don't know. I've debated this for a long time now. You know, how long do I keep this channel? I think I'm keeping it just because I have fun with it. And I say what I want and I do what I want, and I'll share stories about my investments and so on and so on. But the more fun I have in life, what I may do is, as I travel, I'm headed to the United States in a month or so, and I'm headed to a different place in the United States in a couple months after that, and I'm heading down to South America sometime during the next 9 months, 8 months, I don't know exactly when yet, and I'm taking other trips, so I'll probably make videos on my trips, depends on where I'm at, and I'll probably keep harping to you. Buy a duplex, triplex, or quadplex to get started in real estate. If you're struggling and you're stuck, buy a duplex, triplex, or quadplex and get out of your overpriced home that you live in to help grow your real estate portfolio. If you're looking to buy a nice house in a nice neighborhood because it's a cool house, make sure it cash flows. Don't burn yourself. Don't burn yourself. If you want to buy dividend stocks, go for it. Is the stock market overpriced currently? Yes, it is. Has it been overpriced for a long time? Yes, it has been. Is it going to crash sometime soon? I don't know. I do not know. I cannot say it's going to crash tomorrow. I cannot say it's going to crash next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I don't know when it's going to crash. All right. Dividend stocks do pay cash flow. That's what I like about dividend stocks. Growth stocks go up, and just like that, they can come back down if the market turns, and you can't time the market. So be really careful if you're trying to time the market. All right? Don't cry about missing growth if you get a quality dividend stock portfolio built, because then it starts compounding. It just starts compounding. All right? Let's get along again. So with that being said, have a great day. Talk to you again sometime later. Mazke signing out.